Hello, I am Raijner Fulmich, and for 26 years I have worked as a trial lawyer in Germany and in California, representing consumers and small corporations against fraudulent large corporations like Doјče Banka, VW, and Kune&Nagel, the world's largest shipping company, the latter one for bribery. There is a new, very positive development in this Corona scandal which I would like to share with you. 1. The Guardian reported on October 8, 2020, the World Health Organization, the WHO, disclosed in a meeting on October 5, 2020, that it assumes that around 10% of the world's population is infected with SARS-CoV-2. This means that SARS-CoV-2 is roughly as dangerous as the seasonal flu. I'll read this to you from the Guardian article. The global population is roughly 7.8 billion people. If 10% have been infected, that is 780 million people. The global death toll currently attributed to SARS-CoV-2 infections is 1,061,539. That's an infection fatality rate of roughly 0.14%. Right in line with the seasonal flu and the predictions of many experts from all around the world. 2. It must be emphasized once again, however, that the notorious Wuhan virus has not been isolated by anyone in a scientifically correct manner. Nowhere has the virus been isolated according to Koch's postulates. Even the CDC reported in a document dated July 13, 2020 on page 39 that, and I quote, "No quantified virus isolates of the 2019 nCoV are currently available." Quantified means measured. This means that no measurable amount of the virus is available. So what is being treated out there if it isn't SARS-CoV-2? Is it the flu with a little more corona than usual? Is the flu being treated with a lockdown, a mask requirement, and quarantine? Even the WHO seems to be having second thoughts now. Dr. David Nabarro from the WHO appealed to world leaders, telling them last week to stop, and I quote, "using lockdowns as your primary control method." Let me quote a little more from his message. Lockdowns have just one consequence that you must never ever belittle, and that is making poor people an awful lot poorer. He also says, look what's happened to smallholder farmers all over the world. Look what's happening to poverty levels. It seems that we may well have a doubling of world poverty by next year. We may well have at least a doubling of child malnutrition. His message is timely. In a world first, a number of health experts from all over the world came together calling for an end to coronavirus lockdowns earlier last week. They created a petition called the Great Barrington Declaration, which said that lockdowns were doing irreparable damage. As infectious disease epidemiologists and public health scientists, they say, we have grave concerns about the damaging physical and mental health impacts of the prevailing COVID-19 policies and recommend an approach we call focused protection. Current lockdown policies are producing devastating effects on short and long-term public health. Against this backdrop, the fact remains that there's no corona pandemic, but only a PCR test pandemic, as I explained in my last video. And that means that those who deliberately make false statements claiming that PCR tests can detect infections with whatever will be held responsible. By the way, what happened and what continues to happen here is nothing new. At the beginning of the last century, the US judiciary had to intervene vigorously to stop the massive abuse of power by corporations. At that time, the financial industry and the oil companies. My personal legal hero, Justice Louis D. Brandeis at the Supreme Court, became the so-called people's lawyer because he got that job done for the people. This time, we will do that. Thank you.